Welcome to Comms Business Live. My name's David Dungay, editor of Comms Business Magazine, and today, the title of today's episode is Who's Eating Your Lunch? If you missed our last episode, it was on SD-WAN and the opportunity for the channel. You can catch that online at commsbusiness.co.uk. This is the fourth episode in the Comms Business Live series on the run-up to Channel Live in September, the 12th and 13th. Make sure you get those days in the diary. It's the only trade-only exhibition in the UK. It's going to be great. Come along. If you want to find out more about that, look at the website, channel-live.co.uk. So, today, I'll introduce my guests in a moment. We've got Andrew from Nightfall. Welcome.
Hello.
We've got Justin Harling from CAE. And we've got John Whitty from Solar.
Good afternoon.
I'll get the guys to sort of introduce themselves properly in a minute, but we are taking Twitter questions today. So if you have a question for our esteemed panel, please tweet it with the hashtag CHLive17, and we'll pick that up here on my amazing machine. So without further ado, Andrew, tell us a bit about yourself and Node 4.
Yeah, I'm Andrew Wilson. I'm Channel Sales Director for Node 4. I joined the business in February this year to basically reinvigorate the channel. Previous to that, I was 4 years in Virgin Media Business. And yeah, it's a really exciting opportunity and just here to be engaged in this debate.
Lovely. Justin?
So I'm CEO of CAE Technology Services. We are, unashamedly, an IT infrastructure reseller. I'm proud of it.
Good. Glad to hear it. John?
Hi. So I'm John Whitty. I'm the CEO of a company called Solar Communications. Traditionally, we were a PBX reseller, but we're now set on becoming a managed service provider, doing cloud communications.
Right, lovely. Okay, so the title of today's chat, I guess, is Who's Eating Your Lunch? It's all about competition in the channel. Okay, I'm going to throw out a bit of an opening gambit here. IDC predicts that by 2020, 30% of the top firms in every business sector will not exist. And that'll be for a number of reasons. They'll either be replaced by new firms, they'll have merged, or they'll just not have kept pace with the market and they will have declined. Now, I don't know if that scares anyone, but should we start by talking about how your own businesses have developed over the last 5 years, and then we can sort of get into the future a bit more. So, John, do you want to briefly describe how Solar's changed over the last 5 years?
Yeah, so Solar has been around for 29 years, set up as a PBX reseller. And about 2-3 years ago, the owners of Solar recognised that the market was falling away on on-premise PBX, and that there was a need to change and to move the operation to be more of a managed reseller, managed services. And if we don't do that, then it's going to become very difficult. And that's been borne out in my 24 months in the business, where we've seen one-off revenues of on-premise sales decline tremendously and be replaced by monthly recurring revenue business. So what we're about is transforming the business, making sure that it's ready to undertake that transfer of our own customers, and hopefully somebody else's as well, into the cloud and offer a lot more services and a lot more wraparound of value-added services as well.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So let's go to Andrew next. I mean, you said February you've been in the business.
Yep.
Are you able to give us a bit of an overview of the last 5 years of Node 4?
Yeah, absolutely. As a business, I think historically we've been known as a data centre and a comms business, and that was the heritage and foundation of the company some 13 years ago. I think over the last 5 years we've transcended that thought about us being a data center provider into being a hybrid cloud provider. Yeah. Basically, the predictions were about 5 years ago that the data center market would have a compound annual growth rate of about 15%. Over the last 5 years, by changing our business model and addressing more hybrid cloud opportunity, we've managed a 61.3% CAGR. Which is pretty outstanding. We've done that by through innovation and technology, just in terms of evolving the business and keeping up with the trend.
Brilliant. Okay, Justin, do you want to give us an overview?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about evolution. Can I hear? So, and over 5 years, I think that's definitely what we've seen. It's been an evolution. It hasn't been this dramatic transformation we feel like we've needed to go through. So much of the talk at the moment, though, is around digital disruption.
Yes.
Well, we're IT companies. I think that puts us at the heart of what's going on. Actually, you know, if you look at what we're trying to do, we're in a growing market still at the moment. We've had to adapt. We've had to evolve. Absolutely. We've seen approaches change, and we've seen technology move on, without a doubt. But is disruption this big thing to be feared? Because it's something that's, you know, going on that it's difficult to see how we have a place in it?
Sure.
Absolutely not. Right now, we see ourselves right at the heart of this disruption. And that's an exciting opportunity.
Okay. Well, let's get on to the competition then. You mentioned, you know, IT business right at the heart of disruption. So what are you noticing going into deals at the moment? What are you noticing about your competitors? Are they the same? Are your competitors managing to evolve as well as yourself, or are they different competitors now?
I think one of the features is a lot of the competitors to us at the moment feel quite similar in terms of who they are, but in terms of the way that they're acting and the way that we're acting towards them, I think is becoming quite different. We're actually seeing laziness is probably the best way to kind of put it in the channel. We're definitely seeing a part of our competition not adapt. And that's really interesting for us because that changes what we're trying to do and how we're able to attack that. So actually the competition in some respects being a bit static, I think I said it's giving rise to companies not adapting. And what we're seeing right now is a much bigger effect on those companies in terms of what they're able to do and how relevant they are to customer conversations. So from our point of view, that's allowing us to have, should we say, a different relationship with those competitors.
Yes.
In other words, we really think we can take it to them at the moment.
John, what are you seeing in deals today?
So the competition is everybody, and some people are worried about the vendors coming in and delivering services, software providers such as Microsoft with the Skype offering. But what I see it as is it's a great opportunity because what it's driving is consumer awareness. Consumers work in businesses, businesses then need the same services that they do as a consumer. So the awareness that's being produced by all of these other organisations is great for us because people are used to consuming services in a certain way. They recognise that it's not quite right for their businesses, which then gives us the opportunity to take similar products, put a service wrap around it, give them a good SLA, make them realise that we care about them, and when we bring different services together, that they work in the right way and they work effectively. That's the opportunity for us. So the awareness that's being produced provides opportunity for businesses that then want to go and develop that and turn it into a business solution.
Okay. So is anyone here concerned about some competition that they may not be aware of yet? Is that a concern for you, Andrew?
No, I think that the unknown competition, if you want to call it that, is as these guys have said as well, is really exciting because it excites the market. It shows innovation. It raises consumer awareness of products and services. And you know, if you look at our business model in terms of historically being a DC provider, and then we've very much embraced and can provide AWS and Azure, build, design, and operate platforms as well. So it's we're embracing it rather than fighting against it because it's about, at the end of the day, it's about helping the customer disrupt the market they're in rather than us necessarily being a disruptor.
Sure. Okay. We've actually got a question from Twitter. Anil Katamol. I recognise that name from the last show. So thanks, Neil. What are the top 3 ways to stay customer focused whilst keeping your clients? Who wants to take that one? Justin, do you want to have a go at that?
3 things.
3 things. Go on.
Listen, and listen. That was a bit Tony Blair. I kind of get that. But in terms of all the disruption that's being talked about and what's going on, what we're finding is that listening to customers in particular, they're not shy at the moment about talking about what they want, and that's really useful. Listening to the manufacturers in terms of where they think the market's going. In fact, the more that we listen, the more we can take on, and that's what's allowing us to adapt. Don't listen to a customer, react against that. I think you're going to get an inevitable result from it.
Sure, okay. You have anything to add to that, John?
Yeah, I think there's another thing as well, and that is take the right innovation to the customer at the right time. Everybody's busy in the market at the moment. GDPR, stuff that's coming down the line all the time that's worrying organisations in terms of extra workload that's being placed upon them. So they're not really having the opportunity to look at what else they could be doing to improve the value that they're offering to their customers. So being able to know your customer, know what drives their needs and their customers' needs, and then taking innovation to them at the right time and demonstrate to them what value that could create for them, that's when I believe that you can become, again, another buzzword, the trusted advisor, which means that they'll have more loyalty to you, hopefully listen to you, and therefore stay with you for longer as well.
I mean, customer requirements, they're changing quite rapidly. Is it even possible to keep up with that?
It's very difficult to keep up. I mean, every 6 months, I think we're seeing a change in technology in the sector.
Yeah.
And being able to adapt that into value creation for the customers, you've got to understand their business, and you've got to understand what the needs of the sector that they're in is as well.
Okay.
And I think some of it starts following as well. We're seeing customers who have an IT department and actually could have a separate digital department as well. So part of the challenge is, you said, who to talk to in some of these organisations kind of gets tricky. If you're just running everything through IT, it can become really difficult, because some IT departments are a block when it comes to change and evolution, and that definitely becomes part of the challenge then in terms of...
I think that's the word there, challenge, definitely. I think what we're seeing and what we're looking at is the customer's challenges. What are the things that are keeping those customers awake up at night? What are the 3 things that they're actually looking at focusing on in order to enhance and help their businesses stay ahead of the competition in the given sector that they're in? So if we can address those challenges, it's not about the solution and the technology, it's about what's right for their business to address those key challenges.
That's interesting. I mean, so every 6 months you're seeing technology refresh, you've got all these challenges from your customers. I mean, there's a lot of disruption going. Would you class yourself as a disruptor? Do you fear being disrupted at all, Andrew?
I see ourselves as more as innovators and enablers.
Yeah.
And if that innovation and enablement helps our customers be more disruptive in their markets, then that's a really good byproduct. So it's more about innovation and enablement for us rather than trying to disrupt something.
Okay. Do you agree with that, John?
For us, we've recognised that there is a need for change. There is a need to think outside the box. So 2 months ago, we set up a disruptive technologies division within Solar. And what we're looking at there is, instead of thinking about MPLS, VPNs, what does SD-WAN do? How can that create more information value, MIS, that the customer can then go and use? How can we deliver different storage solutions? What does security look like? So we recognise that the market's changing, the way in which the customers are using technology is changing, and it will cause disruption. So we've set up a department just to look at that. So we've got 7 guys just looking at disruptive technologies, new technologies that can create value.
Is that starting to bear fruit already, or is that still a bit of a long-term process?
No, we're seeing a change already, and that there's a good pipeline of opportunity that's being created by that as well.
Okay. So, a lot of new people coming to the market. At the top end, Facebook, you may be aware, coming to the market with their workplace proposition. When someone like Facebook comes into the market, everyone tends to stand up and take a bit more notice. So in the collaboration space, obviously they're having a go there. I mean, does that signal opportunity? Or do you see someone like Facebook coming in taking just a bit of a slice of your pie? Justin, do you want to...
I think you have to look at it in opportunity terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want it. Otherwise, what you get, the opposite will be self-fulfilling.
Yeah.
If you want to fight against this stuff, if you're just going to go, no, please, you can't do it. You have to look at it in terms of opportunity. And actually, there's a good history in terms of people coming to market. I think so many still realise the value in the channel. Remember, Dell was meant to put the channel out of business, a few years now, starts to embrace it. AWS definitely see channel as a route to market. So from that point of view, looking at it from the supply side, I actually feel kind of quite comfortable that we're still a very relevant route to market. But what that type of innovation can do is agitate, and it should lead to more opportunity. It's just going to get people thinking differently. And if they're thinking differently, fantastic. That's going to lead to opportunity. And that's a difference in the market now. Always used to be, people would say, oh, it's the complication that leads to kind of profit. That's not the case anymore. People want simplicity, but they do want to think differently. And by doing so, if you can show that bit of innovation, then great. You can do really well out of what's coming forward.
Agree with that, Andrew. Thinking differently, is that key?
Absolutely. I think that, looking at it and saying, Facebook are a technology business. They've got an amazing customer base, yeah? The foundation is state-of-the-art technology. Why? We're not surprised, are we, that they're going to take advantage of that. I think it's all about how we can add value to that. It's a lot of unanswered questions about how far up the value stack are they going to go. They're a B2C player. How are they going to go just Soho SME, or are they going to keep going up the value stack into enterprise? They're the unknowns. But I think it's about, coming back to the AWS and Azure piece, we've put people and skills around the capabilities of helping customers understand and take advantage of that technology, at the same time as using normal, private cloud and data center capability as well, because there's a real hybrid message going on here. So yeah, it's just another good sort of technology disruptor coming to market.
Unfortunately, there's certain elements, clearly not you, when it comes to sort of journalism and wanting to report these things. There seems to be a desperation to kill stuff. This is coming on board, so this is going to kill something. AWS, they've all wanted to do it.
Those headline grabbers.
They are. They make for nice headlines, but up to now, so it's much more been, everything's moved towards hybrid. That's more been the case. The ability actually of good channel players to be able to adapt, to be able to bring things into solutions and add that bit of value. Absolutely, I think there's an incredible track record in being able to do that.
So go on, John.
Yeah, so what we've identified is the awareness that the big boys are creating is absolutely fantastic, because it's making what we want to sell, offer and deliver the norm. What we've recognised is the way in which we can make a difference is how do we wrap that up? How do we take where they are today, so the as is, how do we take them to the to be? So how do we move their data? How do we move their capability to the new technology? How do we then make sure that all of that technology works together? But then more importantly, which the big guys can't do, is when stuff goes wrong, how do you service that? How do you recognise that they've got a fault? How do you restore the service to them quickly? Because the big boys are going to have problems doing that. So companies that really value their IT and the capability that delivers both internally and to their base means that they need somebody that they can rely on. And that's what we want to be. We want to be the service provider that delivers that. So over the last 6 months, we've invested very heavily in ITIL adoption, ISO standard adoption, and making sure that the systems that we deliver gives them information that they can see, that even though they're outsourcing some stuff that in the past they'd have kept hold of, that they're getting the type of service that they need in order to operate correctly.
Brilliant. Okay, we've got another Twitter question from a Julie Stewart. You mentioned a few sort of challenges there for the channel to overcome, but Julie's asking, what is the main competition the channel faces right now? Who wants to take that one? Go on, Andrew.
Thank you. Almost itself in some ways. I think it's quite a complex marketplace for consumer, for the end user and channel partners alike. I think we need to enable the channel community to help communicate some of these key salient messages to their customers easier. So I think that's a key sort of barrier, and also coming to John's point about service and delivery. Unless you've got a really good service structure and you're able to service your customers effectively, that you're not going to be around very long. And service is one of the key, focal points at the moment for our business.
Do you agree with that, Justin?
Yeah, I think it needs to be. We've operated in a competitive landscape for a long time. That's always going to change. It's always going to evolve a little bit. Is there anything structural in that that's different? No, probably not. But I'll kind of come back to this bit. In terms of competition, it becomes how that IT is being bought. Actually, the competition is sometimes going to be for an IT department. You know, that's what they're facing competition sometimes from other areas of the business, saying this is what we want, and if you're not going to help, we'll go somewhere else and get it. For us, that becomes probably a bigger challenge because those relationships are all important.
Sure. Okay. Well, speaking about evolution, there. I mean, if you took a retrospective look back at the last 5 years. I mean, would you have done anything differently? I'm talking to John and Justin here about, would you have done anything differently in terms of the development of your business? Would you have caught onto a trend perhaps a bit sooner than you did? Or would you have maybe dropped something a bit quicker than you might have?
So I think we've all recognised that the technology bow wave was coming, and maybe in the past some people have jumped a little bit early, such as VoIP in 2006, 2007.
Yeah, that was
it just wasn't quite there. But I think the technology has all come together in the last 2 years in terms of the bandwidth, the compute capability, consumer awareness. So now it's definitely the right time. Would we change anything? Probably not. I reflected on this on the way in this morning, and I look back 5 years, and up until the time that we decided to transform the business and become a managed service provider, I don't think we'd have changed anything because what we did was right for that time. What we've done now is identified that things are changing. All of those services coming together definitely means there's going to be change. If I'd have changed anything, it maybe would have been get ready 6 or 12 months earlier in terms of back office systems, in terms of process, and in terms of building a brand of awareness that we can do stuff differently. But other than that, I think now's the time, I'd say.
Have you done anything differently, Justin?
Are you suggesting we have a time machine here?
Yes, I'm suggesting you get into your DeLorean and go back.
Well, I just want to check, who's driving the time machine? Because, you know, if we're TARDIS, I just want to know, are we going female doctor on? Because there's an evolution, you see, that certainly seems to be kind of making some waves. But happy to go in the female-driven kind of TARDIS. I think that's important, and it's a great step. Would we have done it differently? I don't think so. I would have liked just to be able to just push harder and be able to kind of do more. But part of it also is reflecting back on actually being proud of some of the things we didn't do. The amount of pressure that we came under to build our own data center, as an example. And it was a huge amount of pressure because, again, that was the way it's going to, if you didn't have your own data center, you weren't going to be able to do it. Actually, sometimes a decision like that to say, no, we don't think that that's right. We actually think that, it will go hybrid, that we'll be able to build better partnerships, we'll be able to build a data center. A look back on that kind of decision with an element of pride, and it's still something we've got to watch going forward. Okay, there's a lot of stuff we want to be able to do, but it's watching those things as well that sometimes you need to say, back to the comment I think at the beginning, which says it's got to be at the right time. It is the right thing at the right time, and bringing those together is important.
Sure, okay. Let's talk about the next 5 years then. Major growth areas. You've mentioned a few already, Andrew, but where do you feel you're going to excel in Nightfall?
I think it was said before. I think we're in a major growth area right now. Right. So if I look short to medium term, I think the major growth areas are security, workforce optimization in terms of collab, and also hybrid cloud and journey to the cloud or digital transformation or whatever we want to coin it. There's our immediate amazing opportunity as a channel for all of us to coexist, or coopetition is a word I really like at the minute.
Where we can, I like that one,
where we can all exist and thrive together as a channel community. But futures, I don't know, we could talk about the exponentials, we could talk about AI, we could talk about robotics. I mean, wow, what does that mean for us, and how are we going to embrace that, and how we're going to make money out of that? I mean, that'll be the next phase. But here and now, it's a really good opportunity. So yeah.
Do you feel like that, John? Let's focus on the now.
Yeah, I mean, one thing's for certain: in 5 years' time, 80% of what we thought was going to be there definitely won't be, and there's the evolution, the technology builders that are delivering new services, new capabilities to us right now are absolutely fantastic. So whatever we think is going to come, those guys are going to deliver something completely different. But what we've got to do is take advantage of the opportunity that's here now. So yeah, let's just
Your
drive on.
your disruptive team, are they looking at some of the services Andrew talked about there in terms of the AI and the VR type stuff yet? Or is that still a bit way off?
But not necessarily AI as you'd expect it to be, but AI in terms of how can you automate processes, how can you automate your communications with your customers. That's where I think we're going to be able to make a difference in the future.
Brilliant. Okay, lovely. Okay, we're coming towards the end of the session, so the next phase of competition. Okay, we've got 3-4 minutes left. Where's it coming from? Justin, quick.
It's coming from all over the place, but I think it's going to be our ability to adapt, bring elements, look at what's good out there, bring that in, and make it relevant to the customer. For as long as we do that, we're quite happy with whatever's going to come down the line. I think we're feeling really confident about what we can do going forward on that basis.
Brilliant. Okay, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, it is coming from everywhere, you're absolutely right. But you've got 3 organisations sat here right now that effectively have adapted and will continue to adapt their business models and use technology and innovation to their advantage. So wherever that and whatever that competition looks like, I'm pretty confident that we're going to embrace it and move forward with it and help the channel take advantage of it for their customers.
Lovely.
And for us, it's just driving on with what we're doing. And as we find new capabilities, deciding what value that can create for our customers, and then just bring that in all the time.
Okay.
So you've got to be constantly evaluating and integrating new technologies and new capabilities.
Okay, we've got just a few minutes left. I want to talk about perception, right? You've all come from somewhere. 20 odd years, 29 years, I think you said you've been in business. Justin, similar sort of time.
Yeah, we're just celebrating our 25th at the moment.
Yeah,
so yeah.
There you go. So over those years, people have built up a perception of you, your businesses, what you sell, what you do. How big a challenge is that when we're in this time of digital transformation? How do you get over those perceptions that you're solar communications, you do that, but actually it's a bit broader than that now. How do you get past that?
It's difficult. It's not easy because people know you for what you do and what you've done good, and the view is you do that. We take other services from other people. So what you've got to do is demonstrate to them that you can do other stuff, maybe one bit at a time, and then grow and grow and grow. So if you deliver good service, the customer will have another competition with you. So as long as you continue to deliver good service, there's the opportunity to go and grow the other services that you're offering.
It's back to service again.
Yeah, it does come a lot down to that. I think it's a willingness to have a wider conversation as well. I said back to those organisations. I think if you just want to stick to the one contact you've got somewhere and desperately hold on to that one bit of business that you've got in the way, that's where it's where you're going to struggle. We're definitely having to put a lot more time and effort and having a lot more conversations to, as you said, to really get out there so people understand, what we're capable of doing, and that is where service definitely comes into it. But it's incredibly hard work. Never had to work harder at it than we do at the moment.
Okay. Obviously, the data center, the brand on Node 4. I mean, is that become an issue? I mean, you've gone so far beyond that now.
Yeah, it's not an issue, because we're a really good data center provider. But I think that as these guys both said, it's hard work. We have to go out. We're doing this right now, and we're doing it for good reason because we're raising our brands. Let's not ignore that. I think, but for me, it comes down to 3 things: challenge, solution, result. So go, understand your customers' challenges. Give them the solutions that you believe will fix and help them those challenges, but more importantly, show them the results of other people that have actually you've delivered those solutions for. It's proof of point, isn't it? And then you've backed that out with really good service, a good NPS score, and that, I think that's the ticket to success there.
Brilliant. Okay, I think it's time to wrap up now. So I'd like to thank you, my lovely guest. That's been great, and thank you for tuning in. Please tune in next time. It'll be about 2 weeks' time. You can find the stream on commsbusiness.co.uk. Don't forget Channel Live, 12th and 13th of September. It's going to be a great show. Find out some more information on channel-live.co.uk. Thank you for tuning in. I'm David Dungay. Goodbye.